Salad dressing, vinaigrette, super simple. We make salads all the time and I love a good vinaigrette. Now when I say that, I don't just mean oil and vinegar mixed together, which is essentially what a vinaigrette is, but they are emulsified together. To make my version of the vinaigrette, you need some basil. This is going to be a basil infused vinaigrette. You can also use various vinegars and various herbs. Today, we're using basil. Why? Because it's growing in the arrow garden behind me and it started to get a little high and I wanted to use it up. So there you go. And I'm going to use 2 whole cloves of garlic. If you want 3, go for 3. It's perfectly fine by me. We're not making a lot of this today, probably only about a cup, okay? Because that's how much we use at a time. We'll go through a salad or 2 with that, and that's about it. No reason to make more than you need. I don't like to store this in the refrigerator because it'll separate. To get started, I'm going to be using Pompeian extra virgin olive oil. You can use any oil you want. Don't get me wrong. If you're in lockdown and you can't get out and you can't get oil, it's okay. I happen to have this. I have really fancy schmancy olive oils behind me too, but I don't want to use them for this today because I think they get lost in something that has as much flavor as this is. Those I just put on salads directly. But anyway, what I want to do is measure this out. And I am going to use a stick blender with the mini food processor attachment. A bowl and a whisk will also do the job. It'll just take a lot longer and it'll require, some elbow grease. Anyway, so I'm going to measure out my oil. My general rule of thumb is twice as much oil to vinegar. So I'm going to use, this is a 1/3 cup measure. I'm going to use 2/3 of a cup of my olive oil. Word to the wise, when you're using one of these mini food processor attachments, you do not want to fill it more than, say, halfway with ingredients because, well, when it starts to blend and makes it expand a bit, it can overflow and it's not pretty. Okay, so there's 2/3 of a cup of my olive oil. Today I am just using Colavita aged white wine vinegar. It's the first thing I grabbed off the shelf. We have white wine vinegar, we have red wine vinegar. You can use rice wine vinegar if you really wanted to. It'd be a little milder. Apple cider makes an interesting one. It's a little strong. If you're going to use apple cider vinegar, I would actually dilute it by almost half because it just has a unique flavor. You can also use balsamic vinegar, which makes a fantastic balsamic vinaigrette. Same idea, it's just a different kind of vinegar. And when you use it, use the good stuff. Maybe not the good stuff. We have a little container that costs like $40. I'd have like a little taste of it now and then because I just can't bear to use that in something. But use the best one that you can find. Most balsamic vinegars that we find in the stores today really aren't balsamic vinegar at all. Even if they say balsamic vinegar of Modena, they're really not. They're caramel flavoring added to white wine vinegar. So today I'm just going to make life easy. Use white wine vinegar. Now, like I said, we use half as much vinegar as oil or twice as much oil as vinegar, however you want to think of that. So in our case, 1/3 of a cup. As you can see, we're at about the halfway mark on our little container here, so I don't want to go too much further. What I do want to do, though, is give our garlics just a good finger smash like that. No big deal. Break them up just a little bit. It'll make your life a little easier. In they go. Basil. Now look at this. This is like the biggest basil leaf I've ever seen in my life. I'm just going to give it a quick tear, and I'm going to decide how much is going in here as I go. We have a little bit of Thai basil here, too, and there was a bit of a stem on there. So what? Yeah, we like basil. So I think about that much works. Salt and pepper to taste. You don't want to oversalt it, but a good pinch and a half. If I was measuring, that's probably 1/3 of a teaspoon. Black pepper. Derica loves black pepper. I say this probably in every video. I don't hate it myself. So good several grinds of black pepper. I highly suggest using freshly ground black pepper for this. This is one of those very simple ingredients, very few ingredients, so you want to use the best you can to create the best final product. Makes sense, right? It's the old garbage in, garbage out principle. And now we blend. At this point, you might be thinking, I've seen mustard put in these all the time and all these other ingredients. Yes, they are emulsifiers and they will help. But using one of these stick blenders, it blends so fast that it will actually break up those fat particles, the oil, and blend it in with the vinegar much, 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 much easier. So I didn't happen to have any Dijon mustard laying around. My Grey Poupon was out. I must have handed it to someone else in the limo. So today I decided to just go without it. How long am I going to do this for, you might ask? That's a very good question. I tend to go for a while, then I'll check it. Doesn't quite look thick enough to me yet. Then I'll go some more. Usually takes a good solid 2 to 3 minutes of blending. Okay, time's up. Time to pour this out, see how we did. So as you can see, pours out nice and thick, very green. Gotta love that. Okay, so we have that all poured out. Got my spoon. Just wanted to take a taste. Oh, wow. Very powerful flavors. You might think this looks so green. The basil must be overpowering. Not really at all. The basil flavor is there. It's really nice. Get the nice kick of the vinegar. It's almost creamy. That's how a vinaigrette is supposed to be. It feels almost creamy. And now, what am I going to do with this? Put it in a container. Easy peasy, right? Just put that in a container. Stick this on the counter, really. I don't put this in the fridge because, like I said, that oil will sometimes coagulate and kind of separate. It's not good. I like to put it in a squeezy bottle like this that I can shake up, because you do want to give this a little bit of a shake before you use it. It does start to separate a little bit because oil and water really don't want to mix together. So this is a temporary bond. What can you use this on? Well, the obvious. Salads, sandwiches. This is amazing on sub sandwiches.